Let's kick off this explainer by putting on our thinking caps and asking ourselves a simple yet totally profound question. So, where do we get our energy from when we play? When you're running around the park or just having an absolute blast, your body is literally demanding energy. But where exactly is that energy coming from? And how does it actually make its way to the muscles that need it?
Welcome, everyone. I am so incredibly excited to dive into this explainer. Today, we're going to pop the hood on the human body to uncover the hidden biological engines that keep us moving. We'll be looking closely at two absolutely crucial systems that work around the clock to keep us alive, active, and totally energized.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the human respiratory system, look at how other animals breathe, explore the human circulatory system, check out animal circulation, and finally, see how these two systems team up for energy.
All right, diving right into Section 1, the human respiratory system, subtitled Getting the Oxygen In.
We always think our lungs do all the heavy lifting, but they're basically just elastic bags. The real hero here is the diaphragm. It's this super thin sheet of muscle sitting right underneath your lungs. When you breathe in, it pulls down and in, literally acting like a vacuum to inflate your lungs. And when you breathe out, it just pushes right back up, forcing the air out. It's an amazing, continuous, rhythmic pump.
Check out the actual physical path the air takes. When that diaphragm pulls down, air rushes into your nose, travels straight down that main central tube in your neck, that's the trachea, and funnels right into the lungs, sitting nicely inside your chest cavity. If we follow a single breath of air on its microscopic journey, it's incredibly structured. It goes from the nose, down the trachea, and then branches out like a giant upside-down tree into these tubes called bronchi, then into even smaller tubes called bronchioles. Finally, the air hits the end of the line, tiny little air sacs called alveoli, and that is where the oxygen finally jumps over into our bloodstream. Take a really close look at those alveoli. You'll see they are completely covered in a dense web of blood vessels. And hey, that's no accident. Having all those vessels wrapped around the sacs allows for a massive gas exchange. Oxygen passes right through the super thin walls of the alveoli straight into the blood, while waste, like carbon dioxide, moves from the blood back into the lungs so we can just breathe it right out.
Moving right along to Section 2, how other animals breathe, the biological zoo. So, let's zoom out for a second. Are we humans entirely unique here? Not at all. Whether you're a bird flying high with special air sacs or a massive whale swimming deep in the ocean, you rely on the exact same fundamental design. A whale's blowhole is basically just a pair of nostrils located on top of its head. From that blowhole, air travels down a trachea and straight into the lungs, just like it does for us.
The huge takeaway here is that across all these different vertebrates, the core tool set for grabbing oxygen remains remarkably similar. We all use an entry point like nostrils, a transport tube like the trachea, and an exchange center, the lungs. It's just a beautifully efficient design shared all across the animal kingdom.
Now for Section 3, the human circulatory system, the delivery network.
Okay, so we've got fresh oxygen in our blood, but how does it actually get to your toes or your brain? Well, we all know the cute cartoon heart shape, but the real anatomical heart is a wildly complex, powerful, pumping organ. It is the primary engine for your body's massive transportation network, and it literally never takes a break from the moment you were born.
And that heart's main job? Circulation. That means the nonstop, continuous flowing of blood all around your body. Think of it as a dual delivery and waste removal service. It's constantly shipping out the good stuff, like nutrients from your food and oxygen from your lungs, and hauling away the bad stuff like carbon dioxide.
Just look at this incredible map. Every single tiny blue and red line is part of a massive highway system, ensuring oxygen and nutrients reach every single cell you have. To put this into perspective, if you laid all the blood vessels in an adult human end-to-end, they'd wrap around the Earth multiple times. It's an absolutely flawless distribution network.
Now, to keep that traffic flowing smoothly, without any mix-ups, our bodies use two completely separate biological highways. Arteries are the vessels carrying blood away from the heart, and that blood is fully loaded with fresh oxygen. Veins, on the flip side, carry blood back toward the heart, and they're hauling the waste, blood that's rich in carbon dioxide and ready to be expelled.
So, how do those two highways actually connect? Well, bridging the arteries and veins are these microscopic vessels called capillaries. Their walls are wonderfully thin. This is literally where the magic happens. Oxygen and nutrients pass right through these thin walls directly into your body's tissues, while carbon dioxide passes back in to be carried away by the veins.
All right, let's jump to section 4, animal circulatory systems, pumping across species.
We saw how animals share our breathing apparatus, but what about the pump? Well, just like breathing, the blueprint of a central heart pumping blood through a network of vessels is beautifully shared by other vertebrates too. Whether it's a little bird singing in a tree or a frog hopping near a pond, they all rely on a central heart to push oxygen-rich blood out to their bodies, and vessels to bring the oxygen-poor blood right back.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Teaming Up for Energy, the perfect harmony.
So we have a breathing system, and we have a pumping system. But how do they collaborate to keep you energized and healthy? This perfectly illustrates the continuous loop. The heart pumps oxygen-poor blood up to the lungs. There, it grabs a fresh tank of oxygen. That newly oxygen-rich blood drops back down into the heart, which instantly pumps it out to the rest of the body's capillaries. It drops off the fuel, picks up the waste, and loops right back to the heart. It's the ultimate biological harmony. This teamwork becomes incredibly obvious when we exercise. When you're running or playing, your body suddenly demands way more energy. So, what happens? Your breathing rate instantly increases to pull more oxygen into the lungs. Then, your heart rate spikes, pumping much faster to distribute that fresh oxygen and nutrients to your active muscles ASAP. And of course, the blood rapidly clears out the extra carbon dioxide. Regular exercise keeps this whole incredible engine running efficiently and is the absolute best way to keep your heart and lungs perfectly healthy.
So we know that activity ramps everything up, but I want to leave you with a fascinating question to ponder tonight. If exercise makes these systems speed up to meet your energy demands, what exactly do they do when you are fast asleep and why? Does your heart still need to beat? Do you still need to breathe? Think about what your body's baseline energy needs are even when you're totally at rest. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep your heart pumping, your lungs breathing, and I'll catch you next time.